Hi! This video is part of our requirement in ITST 302, and for today, we will be presenting Performance Task Number 1, Business Proposal. We were assigned to propose a business that is in line with the food industry, and with that in mind, we have a proposal for the restaurant named The Fresh Green Plate. Before we proceed with getting to know the Fresh Green Plate, I would like to introduce the minds behind the concept of the Fresh Green Plate. First, we have Mr. Abranica, Miss Briones, which is me, we have Miss Amparo, Miss Lopez, Miss Carlos, and Miss Alvarado. Alright, with that out of the way, you might be wondering, what are the topics that we'll be covering in this video? So, number 1, we have business concept. So, this part explains what the Fresh Green Plate is. This is the main focus of the video, introducing you to the Fresh Green Plate. Number 2, we will be discussing cost assumptions. So, these are assumptions based on what the proposed cost will be for the Fresh Green Plate. So, we have kept in mind the possible costs that may arise from this business, and this is still subject to change based on the information that we have. And third will be the services and products to be outsourced by the Fresh Green Plate. So these are certain services that we may not have available that are still best to be outsourced. Alright, so let's begin. As I've mentioned earlier, the restaurant will be named The Fresh Green Plate. So this name suggests a focus on healthy, fresh, and possibly plant-based cuisine. It reflects how the restaurant offers a comforting dining experience by prioritizing fresh ingredients and a down-to-earth atmosphere, allowing the food to speak for itself. So what we want to establish here is fresh and delicious food that don't cost much. You don't have to spend a lot just to eat healthy. And here you can see the logo of the Fresh Green Plate. This is still open to minor revisions. We still want to stick with the idea of showing the colors green because it's already in the name, the Fresh Green Plate. For the location itself of the restaurant, it will be located at Main Street of the University Belt in Manila. So why in that Main Street in Manila? Because that place is home to a lot of customer traffic, like for example the students and the faculty. So a lot of people go through there, so it's a lot of opportunities for customers to arrive at the restaurant. Alright, now you're familiar with the business as an identity or as a brand. So in this part, we will be talking about the products and services that this business will offer. Noting down that this business is in relation to the food industry, we will be of course offering products that are related to food. So first up, we have healthy and locally inspired menu. So the food in the menu will be healthy and locally, so it will focus on that aspect of dining in general. Next up is takeout and delivery, and last is catering for events, group meals, and bento boxes. So this is just the general restaurant related products and services, because of course if you have food products available, people want that conveniency of being able to order your food and take it to their home, and etc, etc. So for extra services, we of course have our casual dining experience, we have our online ordering and table reservation system. In this part of the modern age, food ordering systems have been really popular lately, so that it just increases the reach of the restaurant. Third is meal plans with extra recipes that can be repeated at home. Meal plans are in general just suggestions for the customer, so they have an idea of which one they should look forward to without needing to go to the restaurant itself. It can be like similar to a freebie when we go to the restaurant, so there are extra recipes for them to try out to get excited about. Next up is a loyalty program. It encourages customers to come back because there are prizes and incentives to being loyal to our business, to the Fresh Green Plate. Next is sustainability practices and initiatives. So this is one that we would like to also focus on, aside from our branding of having fresh food. So these sustainability practices also play in line with the necessary business model of the sustainability and giving back to the community. Along with really good services, we also aim to have sustainability in our business model, because as a food industry related industry or services, sustainability is necessary because daily we encounter a lot of ingredients, so sometimes these ingredients are not used and those are prone to waste. This sustainability initiative just lessens the waste and gives the business a cleaner outlook for the community, and I think that is something that customers will be encouraged to support. And then lastly, we have themed events in order to make the restaurant more exciting, add a little more twist. So one of these themed events is vegan nights and Filipino food festivals. This will just create a little bit of spice and a little bit more of a creative approach in the menu and in the theming of the restaurant itself. Alright, next up, you might be wondering what kind of specific foods are we going to offer in the menu of the Fresh Green Plate. I have here a few examples, but for the detailed menu, you may look at the attached file that we have for the business. So first up, we have lumpiang sariwa. I think it's a classic for Filipinos to crave lumpiang sariwa. Next up, we have shrimp sinigang salad. So it's a bit unique. It's a different twist on gang. Next up, we have grilled puso rice and baked mussels, and we also have easy chicken broccoli quinoa bowl. So all of these are noticeably healthy. They prioritize vegetables, and I think it's a great start to the menu. But I won't be discussing all of the menu items because these are a lot, and as a restaurant, you need to have a lot of menu items. Moving on, let us discuss the marketing strategy for this business. So it says here that we value sustainability, quality, wellness, community, and affordability. So we want to emphasize that eating healthy does not mean that you have to spend a lot, because even if you notice the market for healthy eating usually costs a little bit more if you go to your grocery and look at those products that have the branding of eating healthy. So we want to be different. We want to emphasize that eating healthy is available for everyone and not just for those who have a little bit more money. So we want to also bring that healthy eating and the comfort of Filipino food right at their house, their homes, because we also, if you can recall, we've been talking about giving freebie recipes, although of course we're not going to reveal a lot of the recipes. We're not going to reveal all of them. So I think that creates the atmosphere of being at home. The spirit of the Fresh Green Plate is everywhere. So because we as Filipinos, we love the comfort, and we also can aim a little healthy. And that is the main marketing strategy, and that is the niche that we will be targeting with the Fresh Green Plate. Next up is the target audience. It says here health-conscious millennials, Gen Zs, fitness enthusiasts, and busy professionals seeking healthy, quick, and eco-friendly meal options. So these are all the kind of people that pass by in the main street of the University Belt. And we're not just going to focus on students and faculty. Everyone is welcome because eating healthy is welcome for everyone. It is beneficial for everyone. And aside from eating healthy, we also want to reinforce the sustainability business model to give back to the community. And I think that sort of business model will build trust within our loyal customers and create a positive brand image. That being a brand doesn't mean abandoning that relationship, that positive relationship between you and your customers, the company and the customers. And I think focusing on that relationship will absolutely give the brand a different edge in the market of food business. In relation to cultivating a positive relationship with our customers, we'd also love to build upon that in our digital presence. Nowadays, it's necessary for brands or companies to build an online presence because social media is accessible to a lot of people already. It has a wider geographical reach and it's all over the world. And I think that plays a role in virality, in a lot of marketing for some people because it's already something that is part of our daily lives. Aside from the in real life presence, we also have the digital presence that we also want to create an identity there, and it will increase the reach of the brand itself. And how will we do that in our digital presence? Of course, I've mentioned social media platforms, and these content will revolve around food videos because those are really popular, and we want to ride that train to getting a lot of views in those content, and seeing behind the scenes in those videos I think will excite a lot of the customers, and we'll see how the food is prepared, and it creates a curiosity for the customers. And lastly is influencer partnerships, and this just increases the reach of our digital presence. Next is for community and offline engagement. We have local partnerships, launch freebies and offers, and a sustainability story. So these three can help improve our community and offline engagement, not just in the digital presence. Local partnerships, an example of that we can do is partnering with local farmers and local sourcers. And in the sustainability aspect, that will play into the impression that we have farm to table. And in the sustainability aspect, of course, the food waste won't just get tossed away. It will go back to the farmer as fertilizer, etc., etc. And it just creates that sustainability aspect that we look for in this business to create trust between our customers. Alright, in this part we will be talking about the operating process, starting with sustainable sourcing and waste management, local sourcing, seasonal menu, and waste reduction. So as a restaurant, we start from sourcing. I've mentioned earlier that we plan to do partnerships with local farmers, and that plays into local sourcing. With a seasonal menu, it also plays with the thought of local farmers and how seasonal harvests goes. And with waste reduction, all of the waste from after preparation goes back to the farmers in forms of fertilizers, etc. and etc. For kitchen operations, it's standardization, efficient preparation, and quality and safety. So kitchen operations are the actual work, the actual preparing of the dishes from needs-based ingredients. And with standardization, those are in the forms of recipes, standardized quantities and procedures in the kitchen. Efficient preparation with those designated recipe cards. Everyone has clear instructions to follow in the kitchen. And quality and safety, I think this goes to sanitation and other standard kitchen protocol in order to ensure quality and safety in the kitchen and in the actual preparation of the food. And then next up, part of the operating process is front of house and customer services. These revolve around service, POS system, feedback, and loyalty. These are the actual service, the actual taking of order, the feedback, and the loyalty of the customers. These are the actual things the customer interacts with. That is in front of the kitchen, that is the front desk. And next in the operating system is technology and systems. We have integrated POS, online ordering, and basic inventory. These three, the integrated POS is part of the ordering system. This is the system that most restaurants use in order to take orders of customers. And online ordering, it's part of expanding the ways that the customers may get their food from the Fresh Green Plate. And basic inventory, being aware of which ingredients are available and which are also not. And it also creates an idea of how much of a specific ingredient we need for that specific time. And it also plays into the seasonal aspect of ingredient availability. Next is employee management, hiring, training, and the flexibility of our employees. These are also part of the operating process, since creating employees that are familiar with the operating process and familiarity with their job can increase quality in the operating of the actual restaurant. Aside from that, next operating process is financial management. We also have to keep track of our spendings, of our earnings, etc., etc. It's one of the base parts of being a business is financial management. So we have to keep track of everything like cost control, pricing, reporting, and cash flow. So we may adjust pricing based on the costs of everything that it takes to manage the actual restaurant itself. Alright, now we're in the next part of this video, which is the cost assumptions for the Fresh Green Plate. I have here a very detailed table regarding the assumed costs for the business. And for this part, I will not be discussing the table fully in depth because it will take a very long time to discuss everything, but I will give an overview of what is to be expected that the table will contain. And these contains employee salary cost assumptions and the restaurant cost assumptions, the yearly breakdown, and also the supplies that we may need, such as water, electricity, internet, rent, the actual ingredients itself, and also employee-related costs such as social media managers, influencers, IT support, maintenance, accounting firms, payroll, etc., etc. And to summarize the table, we have a total cost of 12,931,800, and that is not a concrete costs for everything that it takes to run this actual business, because as we've mentioned earlier, costs are subject to change, and this is just assumption of the cost. So maybe a safe bet for the total cost would be more than 12 million, probably around 13 million or 14 million in total. Noting that cost assumptions are bound to change with more information that we gather in starting up this business, it's also wise to have a lot of iterations for this table, and this table that I showed you is only the first iteration. With more information available, with more research into the costs of starting up a food-related business, the more detailed and close to accurate the total cost assumptions will be for this specific business. So please keep that in mind when looking at the cost assumption table. And now, this brings us to the final part of the video, where we'll talk about the products and services to be outsourced by the Fresh Green Plate. First up we have is delivery and logistics. An example of this that we'll be using for delivery and logistics will have to be Foodpanda. So the reason why we're going to outsource delivery and logistics is because of scalability and reach, cost effectiveness, and operational focus. So handing out delivery and logistics to Foodpanda will give us the opportunity to focus on the food quality itself, and it just gives us better quality food. And for scalability and reach, Foodpanda is already well known in the food business, and a lot of restaurants use Foodpanda for their delivery, and utilizing the popularity of Foodpanda will give us a lot of reach in the delivery and logistics part of our business. Next up is cleaning and facility maintenance. Why are we going to outsource cleaning and facility maintenance? Reasons here is core operations focus and hygiene and standards. Since we're focused on the food preparation itself, I think it's also right for the employees to have a knowledge of food hygiene and sanitation practices, but it also extends to other parts of the facilities, and outsourcing cleaning and facility maintenance can also give us the leeway to just focus on the core operations itself. Next here is accounting, payroll, and tax compliance. It says here expertise and compliance, time saving, and cost effectiveness. Hiring professionals that have a lot of expertise in accounting and payroll can give us a lot of free time. Instead of spending a lot of time in figuring out accounting ourselves, why not hire someone who is more of an expert in that field, and it just frees us up, and like I've mentioned earlier, it gives us the opportunity to focus on core operations. Next up is digital presence and management and tech support. It's also similar to why we'll outsource the accounting related side of the business. It's because digital presence management and tech support is another specialized skill. It says here scalable solutions, technology advancements. Since this digital presence not only includes posting of content, but it also involves other technical skills like video editing, etc., etc., it would be better to hand it out to professionals, and we can also make it a scalable solution because for some time we don't need a lot of video editing, and it can also be seasonal depending on what digital presence we need at the time. Related to that is marketing content creation and execution with high quality visuals, expertise and efficiency, brand storytelling, and enhanced reach. So those two are related because it's related to the digital side of the business, and I think this also includes the points of sales systems that we will be using in this business. Lastly, human resources and recruitment, and it includes quality hiring, efficiency, and compliance. It's just more efficient to have human resources and recruitment services outsourced. We also have sustainable packaging sourcing. It says here sustainability commitment and cost and variety. Outsourcing packaging in the takeout part of the business can give us variety, and it also makes the packaging align with sustainability commitment because we'll also be able to research into what the packaging should be made of, etc., etc. So those are the outsourced products that we will be products and services that we will be using for the Fresh Green Plate. And finally, we are done talking about and introducing the Fresh Green Plate as a business. So in summary, we talked about the Fresh Green Plate as a brand, as an identity, and how it operates. Next up, we also talked about the cost assumptions the actual things that we'll need to operate the fresh green plate. Lastly, we've also discussed the possible products and services we'll be outsourcing in order to keep the fresh green plate a functioning business. That is all for this video, and that is the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Bye!